Gloria Hunniford is a television radio presenter and national treasure, known for presenting on programmes such as Rip Off Britain and her regular appearances on This Morning, The One Show and Loose Women. And now Gloria has teamed up with Vodafone UK Foundation and leading charity Independent Age to launch High Digital, a programme designed to help the over 65s develop their digital skills, save money and feel more connected. And Gloria is with us here just now.
And I'm delighted to be with you as well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
I detect a bit of an Irish accent there, do I?
Oh, it's Scottish, but close.
Purely Scottish. I thought there was a little bit of Irish in there as well.
Well, it's becoming quite important for older people to get online, isn't it? Because it's such a digital world and a lot of banks are closing their branches and high street shops are disappearing.
You've got it in one actually, Toby, because if I'm being really honest, although I've had a computer and a website for ages and I get all my work and my research and personal stuff as well, but for some reason or other, and I can't quite quantify it myself, I have been a bit reluctant. And of course, I'm certainly in that bracket of over 65. So my grandchildren have been haranguing me for ages. They call me Glow. So they go, Glow, just get into the 21st century. And I guess that sort of sums it up. And so when I realized that there's this scheme going on, so you have, as you mentioned, the charity Independent Age, and then Vodafone did all this research that showed that nearly half of the people over 65 are quite reluctant to get online, a bit scared of it, not very comfortable about it. But I'm really glad that I did it because it'll certainly please my grandchildren and my two sons.
It's interesting that they're a bit nervous, but do you think that maybe the COVID lockdowns have helped shown some older people the advantages of the internet to be able to keep in touch with friends and family?
Absolutely, because I mean, I would be very, very sad if I didn't see or hear from my grandchildren. We've got 10 between us. And if I didn't see or hear from them regularly, say in lockdown, I would have been very, very sad. And I think that particularly for those listening who might have grandchildren and family abroad, whether it's Canada or Australia, whatever, it's vital really that you can see them and hear from them as regularly as you can. But you're spot on when you say about during lockdown, because, you know, the advantage of being able to have stuff delivered, to shop online, to book maybe now that we're out of lockdown, to book travel online. I want occasionally to look at clothes online and try them out. And also, like my doctor, for example, wants me to make an appointment by being online. So more and more and more, and as you say, with banks closing and everything, you have to be online to a point. So I was very glad to get involved in this and to learn something.
Yeah, it's interesting because this research has found that by not using the internet, a lot of people could be losing almost £1,000 a year. How does that work out? Because I would have thought it's more expensive to purchase things online because you've got to pay for delivery and all that.
Well, I'm not so sure about that because I think that certainly I've been flicking through a lot of the clothing ranges and they certainly offer a lot of really good value stuff, even better than some of the high street shops. And also when it comes to entertainment, for example, there's a chap who drives me to work occasionally and you know, the West End in London is really expensive.
Yeah.
And he said to me, oh, no, I go online and I can get tickets, you know, and not just at the last minute, by the way. And he gets fabulous tickets for maybe 20 quid, whereas it might have cost you 100 or 100 plus. So there are lots of bargains to be had. It's just that personally, I have really had to learn to tap into those sort of things. But I've sort of got a bit hooked on it now. And I like sort of, you know, scrolling down and learning. And if I only learn, you know, a couple of things a week extra to do, I'm happy with that because Vodafone have called this high digital. And when I said to one of my sons, what does high digital mean? He went, I'm not so sure about that. But when I asked Vodafone about it, they said, well, it's really a step-by-step, easy to learn program to teach you new skills. Yeah. And I like the idea that you can go at your own pace, take it as slow as you want, get somebody to help you if you need to. And it's really a good mental way of approaching it.
Now, it's an online resource. So do you need many digital skills to access it in the first place?
Well, there's lots of help available if you need it because I in my case, I, of course, had sons and grandchildren around who are very fast on it all and very adept. But for anybody coming to it right from the beginning, it is helpful to have somebody in your family who can, sit beside you for a while and sort of help you do it. And there are a couple of contacts that you can get in touch with. If you've got a pen handy, I'm sure some of your listeners might want to ring in and get this information. But with the charity Independent Age, it's very simple. It's independentage.org. Simple as that. And it comes up really quickly and you can get online. With Vodafone, it's a longer one. It's vodafone.co.uk/newscentre/high digital. But there's always somebody around to give you advice and to talk you through things. So those are very helpful.
Yeah. It's interesting how much money you can save, because even I was on the train last week and I saw a thing saying you can save so much money if you book the ticket before you go. And that's something that, even somebody who's not over 65 like me don't really think about that much. This is advice that can help anyone, really.
Oh, absolutely. And although this research has been done with over 65s, but it's very useful information for people of any age. But of course, you young slickers, you're very good at it and you grew up with it, presumably. Whereas sometimes it can be, and I think that's what makes people feel slightly uncomfortable sometimes, because my age group has not grown up with it. So it's all learning new things. But, with Rip Off Britain, a lot of our stuff is exposing scams. Yeah. And you also have to be very careful when you are online, no matter what age you are. If you see anything that's suspicious, anything that doesn't ring true, the old phrase that if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. But there's lots of help available for that too. Better just close your computer, get in touch with one of your family members or Action Fraud, or just somebody who will check it out for you. Yeah. You have to be wary of that as well these days.
Yeah, that's the thing. Do you think that's probably what these older people are scared of the most?
I don't think it's the most, to be honest with you. I think it's a factor, and I think any age should be wary of it all, because, as I say, we spend. I had one woman recently on the programme, and she lost over £500,000 just by a silly mistake, really, that she made. She went on to bitcoins and things like that, about which I know very little. Yeah. But you have to be really, really careful, because even the police would tell you that scammers are more efficient and slicker. That they're ahead of the game, really. But it's not that way. I always feel sad when people say, "Oh, I feel so stupid that I got scammed." You can be scammed at any age, and also, as I said, the scammers are very clever. So it's just a mild warning that when you are online, if you do see anything suspicious, it is a good idea to check it out. Or if somebody calls at your door, for example, cold caller, close the door and check it out. See if they're from the company they say they are. So you have to be a bit savvy.
It is just like cold callers, but in a different place.
Correct. Absolutely. What age are you, if you don't mind me asking?
20.
Oh, so you grew up with it. You were born with a computer in your pram.
Why would you say this course is better than a grandchild just sitting you through everything?
Because obviously Vodafone are very across everything, and it's a very well-established company. Whereas maybe one of my grandchildren might not know everything or be able to give me the help I need. Yeah. And I like the idea of the charity, because I love that phrase, independent age. It gives independence to people who are older. Yeah. And I find it quite, the research that they've done, I find it quite frightening that nearly half of all of those people in this country over 65 are very wary and afraid of the computer.
Yeah.
So that's not a good thing. And going forward, it might be a sad reflection to a lot of people, but increasingly we have to know how to do it, because as you rightly said at the beginning, banks are closing in the high street. You have to book your doctor or your dentist, by going online, etc., etc. It's just getting a bit more difficult for that personal touch.
Yeah. My granddad tells me, and I don't know how true it is, that he doesn't use online banking. He just gets the statement, and every time he spends money from his account, he does the maths and he knows how much is in his account. Is that a good way to do it?
Well, it's the old way of doing it, and I have to admit I still do that because I want to check absolutely everything. With my credit card statement, for example, I check every single transaction, and at times I have found big mistakes there. And I check all bills. And you're going to find this ridiculous. I won't even let my agent bank my money. I have to bank it myself. So I don't think there's any harm in being like your granddad. Do it whatever way it makes you feel comfortable. And I could pretty well tell you anything that's in my account at any one time. And I like that as a backup. So I'm not saying that everybody's got to depend on being online, but it's just a big advantage to be online.
Yeah, it's great because I like with my bank, it tells you what you spent money on and it tells you the location as well. There's been times where I've been like, I don't remember going there, and then it tells you the town it was, and then it kind of helps you.
That's right. I had one of those recently. And I was thinking, well, why did I spend £200 in that area? I don't even remember being in that area. And it turned out to be a cash machine. But I did check it. I did ring up the credit card company and say, what was that? So it does. I mean, I think that in the age of scammers, it's very, very good to be savvy, whether you're working with your checkbook, which I know is going out of fashion, or whether you're counting your money, whether you're like your granddad, or whether you are computer savvy. And like my youngest son, he says he couldn't survive without online banking. So there's something for everybody at every age. And I think that's a great advantage.
I feel like there's a bit of discrimination going on in the world at the moment in terms of digitalness, because sometimes to do certain things, you need an app and there's no alternative way. Is that a good idea?
Well, now you're getting very technical, aren't you?
Yeah.
There's no point, asking me about a lot of technical things because I would have to take advice on that from my own point of view because I'm still learning. It doesn't sound like a very good idea, but I suppose it's the way of the world, isn't it? But my advice in that case would be, you probably have a good neighbor who does it, or certainly one of your family, or indeed some of these, of the help that I've been telling about with the websites.
So what are some quick ways that people can get more confident online?
Well, I think, because this scheme, and they do call it high digital, it is a quite a gentle step-by-step, easy to learn program. And I think that encourages you don't feel pressurized when you're doing it. You don't have to learn it all in a week or all in a day. You don't have to feel, because sometimes people could say, oh, I never learned all of that. I think a marvelous way, and that's the way I've been doing it, is just to do literally step by step. And I feel a great achievement when I learn how to do something else on the computer, and I'm not afraid to ask for help. And so I think that there's not necessarily a big magic way because you're only 20, you've grown up with it and you're slick, but not every age group, particularly the over 65s, we're not going to be, if you're coming to it fresh, you're not going to be necessarily that smart or that quick. But I know some people in their 90s who are superb because they've practiced it and they've time to do it. So there's no sort of blueprint for it all.
Yeah. Well, where can we go to find out more information?
Well, I've given you the actual contacts. So if you've got your pen ready, here we go. So the easy one is independentage.org. And then for Vodafone, who've done the research, it is Vodafone UK. Well, no, I was going to say UK Foundation. That's a different contact. So in this case, it's vodafone.co.uk/news centre/high digital, which is what they've called the program.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for joining us today. Good luck with your career.
And I love your accent.
Thank you. I like yours too.
Very nice. Thank you very much.